Welcome to Vicoding University, training humans to train themselves. Uh, Today, I want to talk about we sort of indicated that what can you do with it, right? Well, I want to talk a little bit about what you can do with it. I want to start out with a little bit of a background or story or whatever. Okay, I used to teach science. One of the things I did, I taught math and science. One of the things I taught science. And with science, of course, you always have the lab or the experiment. And one of the most things you can almost predict about the lab and the science lab and in the lab is that the students would be doing experiments or tests that wouldn't work. And then the teacher would come and explain, well, it should have worked like this, and tells you how it should have worked, and you're supposed to get something from that. Okay. Well, I don't know. I just didn't like that. So uh, one year I decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay. This is your lab that you're going to be doing in this. We were doing physical science or whatever. And they had to, first of all, they had to, these little science projects, that you find in books for elementary kids or on YouTube or whatever like that. These little science projects have concepts behind them. So they're what they had to do was they had to go find one of these little science projects, get it to work at home. Then they had to go and buy all the supplies, materials, and equipment so that for 5 groups, that wasn't much, right? You're buying oranges or something like that, little wires or, marbles to roll down this or little uh, something card or with momentum. I don't know, but they had to get to work at home, go buy the materials for 5 groups. Then they had to come to class, explain the concept, explain the setup of the experiment so that the students knew, the other groups knew what they were doing, and what the test was, what the control was, how they were going to graph it, so what kind of data they were collecting and things like that. Then they would hand them the materials out and help everybody get started, and uh, then they'd start to collect the data on the board, and then at the end of everything, we'd clean up, and we would then look at the data, and they would explain it, and we'd see how the data, and we got to see real data, and there was variation, there was all sorts of crazy things. But all I can tell you is that these students had a great time. It was, I don't know how to tell you. It was just everybody was excited because they were doing experiments that worked, and they worked. It wasn't like they were perfect. It wasn't like they out of this world, but they worked. And people like to do things that work and that are sort of neat and have concepts behind them, and they can really learn from it and they talk about it. And we had 3 or 4 weeks of great experiments. It was sort of like a competition who could have the greatest energy and stuff in the room and stuff. So we had a good time, and I think they learned a lot. But more importantly, what I want you to get is that you want to take on these. What can you do in something at a level that it can work? I mean, so often we set ourselves up to fail, and it's not exciting at all. So set yourself up to win. And that's what you want to start doing, is setting yourself, what can I do? You look in the mirror, what can I do with this? And set yourself up to win, to do a little experiment and stuff like that. Remember, we're trying to take these on, and after you take them on, you'd be surprised where you can take them. In other words, when I started out construction, I started out small projects, and then little by little got bigger projects. You get bigger tools, more things you can do, and things like that. So we're just starting this train yourself stuff. So take on a project that's exciting that you can do. Now, remember, there's 5 levels, right? The 5 levels. First one was just do the research. So the student had to do the research, go on, go get a book or something. I didn't decide what they were going to do, get the materials, get it to work. So now we're starting to look at, they're trying to figure out in their mind, how am I going to get this to work, and what materials, and how will I do it? So they get it to work at home. So we sort of run through a safe situation where no one's going to laugh at them or anything. And then we putting them in a little more challenging situations where they got to do it, and then they actually help other students do it. Now, as a teacher, you always know that the person that learns the most is the teacher. Okay, if you teach somebody how to do something, you're going to learn a whole lot more than they know, because you're trying to figure out. Now you're starting to go into all these 30 to 40 different situations. Well, they're thinking this or they're thinking that. Got to think about this, and so now we're starting to get into all these different situations. Now, that sort of takes you to, what is it, level 3 at the peak ends, where you're starting to get into those. But level 4 is where you got to start practicing it and getting it to, so you know what to do, you've done it before, you're okay with it and stuff like that. But there's still level 4 where you're starting to actually master it. And like if you're shooting the basketball, you know how to shoot it, you shot, and made a lot of the points. But now you want to be consistent, it wants to be automatic. So that's just what you do. And then level 5 is, that's just what you do under stress, in surprise situations, or if you wake up in the middle of the night, or if you're tired. So that's level 5. So those are the 5 different levels that we're shooting for. That we're shooting for level 1, 2, and 3, getting them going here, and so that's where we're at so far. So now, a lot of us get to level 3, and then we go, well, we're just okay and stuff like that. We know what we're supposed to do, we know how to do it and things like that, but we never go to level 4 and 5. So I want to talk a little bit about getting to level 4 and 5. So a lot of times we try to do something, we sort of know what to do, know how to do it and stuff like that, and then we try to do something just a little more difficult, and we go, oh, I guess this isn't for me. I'm just not a natural. This is, if it was easy, I'm sure, I would do it, but this is just too hard, right? And stuff. Come up with all sorts of things. That's how we're trained. We're trained to do that. People, look at you. Oh, you're talented here. You're talented there. Oh, that's too hard. That's probably not you. You shouldn't do that, right? But what if you want to do, or what if it's what you need to take you to where you want your goal is, or whatever. What do you do? My wife and I were watching this one program, and this one guy was really smart, really great with computers. And of course it was a crime fighting here. And he went out into the field and he sort of did something, but he really botched it. It was his first time out. And he went back to the office and he said, "Oh yeah," and he said, "I put in for a transfer to this, cyber crime place, because that's probably more me," right? He's looking, but in his mind he's going, I really want to be out there where the action is. And the guy comes up and slaps him on the back of the head. After the first time, just because it's a little hard doesn't mean that you can't do it. You got to get that, you've never done it before. It's might be a little challenging, might not be, but just, laugh it off, work on it, shake it off, break it off, take a deep breath and regroup, whatever you do. Okay. Develop ways that you do regroup like that. And that's, one of the things you want to have in this train yourself thing going on. And then you figure out how to do it. Now, going to level 5, probably the best examples of going to level 5 are moms. Okay, I can still hear my dad and my wife arguing one time at a dinner, saying, "My mom's fried chicken was the best," and he said, "No, my mom's fried chicken was the best," because moms really, they take it to level 5. I mean, they work to figure out what their family likes. They get it, they perfect it, they get it down there, they do it again, they do it again, they do it again, and it gets better and better every time. And then they do it under stressful situations when they got to pack the car, get the kids ready to do this, and yet here comes this great meal for whatever it is, or great dessert, or whatever they do, and it's just amazing. So moms are one of those things. If you want to look at what level 5 is, those are the ones that take it there. Now they just decide that's what they're going to do. It is like, can I do it? No, I'm going to do it. And you sort of got to get that, is that you're going to have this training machine, right, that's attached to you, that's going to allow you to help yourself become who you want to become. It isn't like, can I do it? It's like, what do I have to do it? And you're going to figure it out, and you're look in the mirror, and go, man, oh, if I do that and that and that, you start to see things. I can take one step, then another step, then another step, and then you start seeing things out there in the world that can help you. If I use this and this and this, and you start to figure out how to do it. And it's, you just, I mean, you look, all you have to do is look at, like, say, moms, and you're going to start seeing people that, they do it because that's just who they are. So it's like, we're going to talk a little bit about identity in the future, but it's like, you've got to start getting the sense, once you have this training machine attached to who you are, you can train yourself to become who you want to become. See, moms got this training machine, they don't even know it. Okay, they, okay, I want to do this. They look in the cookbook, they do this, they watch on TV, they, think about how they can start to ruminate. They're level 2, level 3. They see in the drill, they got this. They go shop, and they see a friend doing it. They see somebody else doing it, and they give it a shot themselves, and they get it better. And then they take it and they perfect it for their family. If this is, they really like this, they get it, they find it, and under stress they do it, and they got this going on. So it's a natural way, as soon as you got that training machine, where you start to look and say, well, what can I do to do it? Okay, so but take on things that you can do to start with, so that you can get excited about it, and things like that. So like I say, so much of this sophisticated science, you got to be big and proud, or like the, I don't know, wherever you're at, is, don't be going, I got to do big stuff just to feel good about myself. Start getting excited about the little things that you do, the little projects that take on, that can actually start moving forward, so you can start the little ones, and then pretty soon you'll be doing the big ones. So get excited about those little ones, and the next thing you know, you'll be doing the big ones. So again, start those projects, take them on, and do the ones you can. Alrighty, Vibe Coding University, training humans to train themselves. Alrighty, talk to you later.